Now that we've established that, gentlemen, let's get straight to it, because the man that waits for no one, as good as Richard and I look, SGA.
Oh my God.
Pulling up to the Garden. Is that
this
one
had
piece?
its own bag. This had its own bag on this trip.
Just tell me they make that in the 5X.
They don't make
There's
anything
not
in
enough
5X.
material there. It's a good reason, though, that they're confident. OKC has been outscoring teams by over 11 points a game this season. Not only is that a league high, it's seventh best mark in NBA history. But how about the New York Knicks here? Over the last 6 weeks, it's Jalen Brunson in New York that have been winning big, outscoring opponents by nearly 14 points a game. And when you take stock, we could be looking at this matchup being a potential finals preview here, because ESPN Analytics, they have this as the third most likely matchup come June. The Knicks have just under a 15% chance to meet the Thunder on the game's biggest stage in the NBA Finals. I don't know, Brian, are you a little surprised to see the Knicks projected that far down the list of teams to represent the East?
I am, and here's why. Because when you look at the Knicks and you look at what they've built over the last few years, they have spent so much money and so many draft picks to get a closer in Jalen Brunson, a double-double machine who can stretch the floor in Karl Anthony Towns, elite two-way wings, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, energy players, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson. This team is completely built to win it now, but as those numbers show, they are not a team that has demonstrated that we can trust them, and the numbers don't trust them either.
Well, I trust them. I trust them. If you'd asked me this 2 months ago, I would have said hell no, but I trust them right now, because when you're on a contender and you know you have a legit chance of winning a title, the message in the locker room is that come March, you want to be hitting your peak going into April. That's what this team is doing right now. They have been one of the better defensive teams. Karl Anthony Towns, I have to sing his praises. You know why? Because he is sacrificing. I know he hasn't scored it. He's on a hot streak right now, RJ, Wendy, and Malika, or a streak, should I say, for us not having 20 field goal attempts, but the word sacrifice come to mind. And when you think about champions and you think about your sacrifice, it's a quick story. We in Rome, 2008. KG sets
He loves talking about this.
You damn right, because the star was born.
It's never a quick story either.
That's the great thing about winning a championship. You can always. And KG walked in training camp, and he said, Doc, run this offense through Paul and Ray. I'm going to worry about the defensive side of things. Knowing that he was the most talented on the squad. But it came a time in the playoffs, like it's going to come for Karl Anthony Towns, that he's going to have more FGA.
No, he's going to have more FGAs, because that's what we talk about. You have to have two dominant scorers, and he was in that position last year as a second dominant scorer, played outstanding. But Mike Brown, when we had an opportunity to talk to him early in the season, he said, look, Karl Anthony Towns is going to have the most difficult kind of transition. He's like, I'm trying to just give him a little bit at a time, because the 1 through 4 spot is very different than the 5 spot. And he wants him to be able to do all 5 spots. So that just took a little bit of time. And now you can see February, he shoots his highest in the season, shooting 39% from 3. He's starting to trend in like, okay, I feel more comfortable in the system and what we're doing, because they're going to need him to feel more comfortable, because he's got to be a high-level scorer as a second option on this team.
If they're going to make a run to where they think they can go, think about the bigs that they're going to have to go through. Look at what they got in Cleveland. Look at what they got in Detroit. What if he's got to play this team in the finals? Look at the bigs that they got here. Look at the bigs they have in San Antonio. Karl Towns, regardless of how many shots he is, he's going to have to deliver at the highest level against some of the best players in the league when the chips are down.
This is my thing. When you look at the champions over the years, you look at Jamal Murray, you look at Jokic, you look at Jason Tatum, you look at Jaylen Brown, you look at Steph, you look at Clay. In order to win a championship, you need to have two monsters. It could be a one guy, but you need to have a second monster. And if you look at Detroit, one of our biggest issues with Detroit, as great as they are, who is that second dude when Cade is struggling? You don't have the Jaylen Brown struggling. Jason Tatum got it. Jokic is stuck, and Jamal Murray has one of those moments. He needs to be their second dude.
That's why you two sit next to each other.
I'm always
so much. But look, he is the most important player on the Knicks as far as their success. He will have his moments. His biggest problem is when he get in his own head, right? When Karl Anthony Towns is engaged, he needs to understand that it's going to come a time because it's all about matchups in the postseason, right?
He's a matchup nightmare. He's a matchup
nightmare, and you can tell and even when he's not shooting the ball, the attention that he draws because of his ability to knock down the three. And when you talk about one of the best shooting bigs to ever play, look how wide open this three is to OG Anunoby. And then you look at this clip right here. Karl Anthony Towns again. He's so elite that you can run screen and rolls with him. He rejects it. He's one of the most talented bigs this game has ever saw. Now all of a sudden you see the defense, it draws in, and now he got the great vision and awareness. He throws a no look, and all of a sudden you get a wide open look. So it's not necessarily about him having FGAs all the time. It's about him being involved and feeling love in the offense.
How about zeros too? Because one thing that no one wants to talk about right now when you're in the thick of it, he's due a contract extension this summer. He's got 1 year left guaranteed after this year. This is when you extend somebody. You want him to finish on a high note because at some point this summer, it's going to be discussing money. And you earn your money in the postseason.
And they want to give him the money though. But he's auditioning. You know the ties that he have. Him and when it comes to Leon Rose and Worldwide West, Karl Anthony Towns, they go back like 4 flats on the Cadillac.
Wow.
So they want to make sure he's successful in the Knicks uniform. They want to give him his letters. He's on the stage, though. He got to dance.
They're going to have their hands full, right, against the defending champs coming up in this one in OKC. They're looking to become the first repeat champs since the Warriors. That was in 2017-18. The Thunder, they started off red hot. They began the season 37-8, taking a 6.5 game lead in the West. But with injuries, they've slowed down since then. They've gone 11-7. However, SGA still playing at an elite level here. He's scoring at least 20 points in 123 straight games. That is 4 games shy of passing Wilt Chamberlain for the longest streak in NBA history. All right, well, the best kept secret in the galaxy, it's not just the suit, it also is the dominance of SGA. But the secret's out, and you're looking at something that goes far past those 123 games.
My thing is this. What Shai is doing is unheard of. To me, he's like Jokic as a guard. It's like after a while, you're like, wait, is this dude one of the greatest players of all time? Is he putting together one of the greatest stretches? He's averaged 30 points a game in 4 straight seasons. That puts you amongst elite category. There are very few people. Do you know how many people average 30 points a game in their career? Very few. Shaq did it 0 times. D-Wade, the monster, 1. Dominique Wilkins, 2 times. Kobe, 3. Shai has more than all of them. It is so impressive to watch what he's able to do. We need to take a moment. We just need to give some love, give some appreciation to what he's able to do. He's also insanely efficient. 30 points a game, 50%. He's not a chucker. He's efficient. He's getting into the paint. He shoots threes, but that's not his primary weapon. He's got 4 seasons of 30 points a game at 50% in his career.
Yeah.
Sis, that makes absolutely no sense because he's in there with trees. He's doing it. Durant, Curry, LeBron combined. Now, these are some of the most efficient monsters. We got 50, 40, 90 in this group. And you know what? They've only done it 3 times. He's doing all of these things. It's so impressive to watch him just continue to transition. And when you even go even higher, even more elite, what do? You got 4 straight seasons with 30 points a game at 50%. Now, do you know who else has done that? Michael Jordan. Do you know who else has done that? Wilt Chamberlain. When you're ever in the same category as Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, that is elite of elite. We need to start praising, watching. You don't even have to be a basketball fan to appreciate what this man is doing. He's putting himself in next level category. The streak that he's on, the 20-game streak, that's going to go down as one of the hardest things that you could ever do because it's the consistency that he brings it with.
And Thunder have not done that trend yet, but maybe they should. SGA, though, a perfect 6-0 at Madison Square Garden in his career.
And he knows it.
Yeah, and that
he's well aware of it.
A pair of 35-point games in 2 of his last 3 trips to the Mecca. He had 39.
Jalen Brunson, don't let some man come into your house and win every time. You got to start taking it personal. Perk said it. That's your home. Mm-hmm. That is the home of Jalen Brunson.
And he looks comfortable in that
And he looks comfortable in that home. And it's like, if this man going to keep coming into your home and winning and say, hey, man, thanks for that meal. I appreciate it. Thanks for the menu. So I just want Jalen Brunson to go up there and do some work.
No, I agree. And look, Jalen Brunson, when you talk about what's at stake for him as far as his individual legacy, To me, he got the most to gain.
You talked to him about this.
I did on his podcast, Roommates. I was actually invited.
You were a roommate?
Yeah, I did a sleepover, whatever you want to call it.
Room.
Right.
Sorry, that's not. Keep going. Keep going.
And I looked him in his eyes and I told him, I said, because the story matters to me. No one expected Jalen Brunson to be here in the hardest market in sports in New York, carrying the weight on his shoulders. And what he's already done for this franchise, I feel like he's one championship away from being the greatest Knick ever. The story matters to me. Drafted, late second round by the Dallas Mavericks, wasn't drafted to be a Batman leading the charge of a franchise and doing it in a Knicks uniform. And tests like today is like the ones that he needs to ace. Like you just said, it's enough of that SGA on it.
It's a playoff game in the regular season.
And smaller picture, they've been awesome at home all year. They're one of the best home teams in the league. And they just smacked the Spurs when they came in there. What message does it send not only to the rest of the league, but to your own team if you then smack the Thunder when they're pretty close to full strength?
Yeah, you got to start smacking some people because Detroit been smacking them. So it's like if you want to look at getting to the finals, it's also a mindset message when we go into that because we believe we can win a championship. When it was Golden State, Cleveland, it didn't matter when that game happened.
Right.
You knew that it was a potential finals matchup. Those games meant more. This is a potential finals matchup. Shai and OKC looking at them like, we know we going to be there. Can y'all get there?
And again, SGA, he waited on this moment. He set out last night, showed up in
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, I mean, showed up in the fur coat to go in there because he resigned in New York. His home is in OKC, but he resigned in New York. Chet Holmgren got to take that leap, though, y'all. Real talk. When you talk about them
He's
trying
averaging career highs.
No. But I need more, especially with J-Dub being out. You know how hard it is to repeat. That's why we haven't had a team repeat in the last 7 to 8 years. No J-Dub. I need to start seeing more 25 or 30-point nights out of
But I think that's a good point. Don't take our word for it. The fact that the Thunder sat their guys last night to be full strength for this one, everyone knows the magnitude of this one. It's time to get it out to Leg.